grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. That's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it, you can influence it, you can build your own things that other people can use.
You have to give it everything you got. No more TV, no more parties, no more playing. If you don't have a 4.0, what you need to be doing is studying.
That means that we have an opportunity to learn how to maximize our lives. Think of the things that you're doing that somebody else could be doing. And think of yourself as a precious commodity that you are going to reserve your energy for your highest and best use.
All the successful people had the exact same amount of time that you have each day. So what did they do that you may not be doing? They invested in themselves. On the weekends, after work, in the evening, they put time in something that they wanted to do. They invested their own time in themselves.
How much do you love yourself? Because if you understand the value of self-love, you'll never be friends with those type of people. Most of the people out here are running around empty. They have no sense of self. No sense of self-love. When I say self-love, it has nothing to do with celebrity, money, materialistic things, and all of the things that your negative mind could probably go to. It's a matter of knowing your value. It's a matter of you saying, I don't have to be around these people in these type of environments and situations in order for me to finally see the value in myself. I love me independent of you loving me. I believe in me. I know my self-worth. I know clearly that I'm a child of God, and God has a purpose over my life, and if he didn't, I wouldn't be here anymore.
Pick up the pace. You walking too slow. Pick up the pace. You moving too slow. Pick up the pace. If you want to finish, sometimes you can't just finish. You got to finish fast. This ain't for the weak and the uncommitted. Are you hearing me? Success is not for the weak and the uncommitted. This is physical. Sometimes it's going to hurt. Sometimes it's going to be painful. Sometimes, listen to me, sometimes you're not going to be able to walk. Are you hearing me? But this is a physical sport. And if you want it, you got to go get it. You got to play hard for it. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? It's not for the weak and the uncommitted. Execution is worship. You got to get to a place that when you start it, you get through the middle of it and you finish it. Are you hearing me? And not just finish, you finish strong. Listen to me very closely. Most of you, the reason why you'll never be successful is because you procrastinate. You procrastinate. You never finish stuff. You start and you never finish. Yup, it's hard. Yup, it's difficult. Yup, why? Because the process is weeding out the weak. It's weeding out the weak. And so sometimes you got to play hard. You got to play physical. You got to play tough because the game itself is tough. The game itself is hard. I know you got what it takes not to quit, not to give up, not to give in.
In the film Horton Hears a Who, Horton the elephant desperately attempts to get the animals in the jungle of Newell to believe that there is a town living on a speck of dust. The kangaroo believes that Horton's attempts are poisoning the minds of the animals, so she orders the destruction of the speck at once. Horton didn't want this to happen, so he spends his time showing the animals evidence that there are truly people living on that speck. At the last second, before the kangaroo drops the speck into a pot of boiling stew, the people on the speck make a noise loud enough for the animals to hear and were saved. Because Horton was able to inspire the animals and show them that they are not the only ones in the world, he was able to save an entire town. Mexican-Kenyan actress Lupita Nyong'o and musical recording artist Janelle Monáe have inspired women of color to rock their curly natural hair. Their accolades and celebrity status show that people in Hollywood don't only have one look. They prove that beauty and success come in many different shades of skin and types of hair. This, in turn, teaches everyday women of color to be comfortable and proud of their natural look.
In this scene of the CW television show, The 100, the protagonist Bellamy Blake tries to encourage the members of his group to fight against their aggressors. In the relational leadership model, knowing, being, and doing are stressed as it relates to effective leadership. According to the third edition of Exploring Leadership, the leadership process calls for those engaged in it to be knowledgeable, knowing, to be aware of self and others, being, and to act, doing. The knowing, being, doing model represents a holistic approach to leadership development. Blake shows his exemplary leadership skills by knowing the purpose of his encouragement, which was to move his group towards defending themselves against the opposition. His being skills are also shown as he was aware of the grounder's plan to hurt his group, as well as the group's hesitance to fight against them. Also, Blake does do his job, and his actions show his development amongst his group.
Martin Luther King was a leader of inspiring a shared vision. He had a dream to live in a world where all men and women were equal and not judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. He gave speeches that brought energy and hope to his supporters to continue to fight for equal rights. His I Had a Dream speech is still recognized today as one of the most inspiring speeches of all time. He inspired the shared vision of equality through peace and love, and people followed him because they could see the strength he had to lead.
In this clip from High School Musical, it shows that Troy is telling the others not to quit, and that they could work things out and everything will be okay at the end. Troy already has the vision of seeing him and his friends getting out of the horrible summer job that they're all trapped in. He is trying to convey that message of hope to his friends by encouraging them not to give up. He sang the song to motivate his friends to keep working and not to quit. Once he started singing and dancing, all his friends eventually joined in, and then they all saw that if they do not give up, they will get through this horrible situation in a flash. In the clip, he kept repeating, "We have to work this out," meaning they all have to come together and envision their main goal, which was enjoying their summer.